Hey guys, Otto here from Acquisition Partner, back with another video. So today, guys, what I want to talk about is trend and niche hopping. And the reason I want to talk about this is that you've probably noticed it yourself. I've definitely noticed it myself. Is that a lot of these gurus in the online space seemingly go from niche to trend, depending on what's the hot topic at the moment. And we've seen this with guys who were previously pushing SMMA offers. Now all they're pushing is school, create a school community, and that's how you're going to get rich. And actually, they're only doing that because they tried to do the GHL thing to make a load of money whilst they could from GHL and high level commissions, things like that. So whether it's growth partnering or growth creating, SMMA, AI automation, build and release, whatever it might be, you're probably noticing a lot of these guys online who are jumping to these niches and then pushing them on you like they are the next gold rush, basically. And that really is what this is. Okay, so the online space is basically like the gold rush, and how, if you take the United States for example, how millions and millions of people emigrated over the years in search of gold. And what people realized, enterprising individuals at the time, was that if you leave your country and up sticks and leave your family, and then you come to try and find gold, you might be successful, you might not. The earlier you jumped on that, sort of trend as it was, the more successful you could have been, and the likelihood that you find gold would have been higher. But as millions of people emigrated, what typically happened was that those early movers and early responders were the ones that made money. They drew down their profits and they left, or they invested into different industries and moved on. Whereas the idea of the gold rush as a kind of get rich quick and like business scheme basically was continued to be pushed and promoted and marketed. And the people behind the marketing of the gold rush were not the people that were actually making money from physically finding gold themselves, and then purporting how great it is and how it was worth the trip and leaving everything behind and how successful and easily done it was. These guys that were pushing that messaging weren't the ones that were actually getting the gold themselves. They were the ones that were facilitating those desperate individuals who had left everything to turn their hand at gold hunting. Okay, and these guys who were making the most money, for example, were selling the shovels, they were selling the blue jeans, the equipment, the panhandles, all of that stuff to help these desperate individuals turn their hand at gold mining. All right, so a bit like the online space, it's in these people's best interest to hype up the gold rush and to encourage as many people as possible to do what business model they are trying to push at the time. Because whether they find gold or not, whether you watching this, join that online course and actually are successful or not, doesn't matter to that individual because you've already bought their online course. Okay, so it took me a long time to, I guess, I realized this and I could see this trend from a very early, stage with all this online stuff. But one thing that I had to get my head around was that making videos or producing content like this, I guess, doesn't in its nature mean that you're one of those people. Okay. And it took me a long time to realize that. Actually, it took me 6 whole years of sitting on the sidelines whilst running and growing my own legitimate real world business. So not an online course business or anything like that. 6 years of doing that and seeing what people were doing online and witnessing that, gave me a lot of time to build some insights that perhaps, you might not have if you're at sort of an early stage of your journey currently watching this. Okay. And, what I kind of realized and the point that I got to and really why I'm making these videos is that at some point you will find too in your entrepreneurial journey that you'll either be forced to, and it will be out of a need or just simple common sense, to start entertaining the idea of producing content, building an audience, and adding a revenue stream that is as scalable as this online space can provide. Okay. And if you're in business, if you are running a company and you are, personally biased and have your own opinions that everybody that makes videos, is a scam artist or whatever it might be, then you're just going to deny yourself an opportunity to grow your business and grow your revenue streams and, ultimately look after your family, improve your life, whatever it might be, whatever your reason is. Okay. So I got to the point where I couldn't really disregard this as a channel any longer, despite making money and being super happy, whatever, with my normal business life over the last 6 years, and learning all these lessons. I couldn't, after 6 years of doing that, I couldn't any longer kind of put this online world, into that category. All right. I had to explore, I had to look into it and figure out how I can actually use these channels too, to help grow my business and improve my life as well. Okay. So one of the kind of, I guess, stupidest things I've heard, and I know this because I used to be one of those people to say it too, is that a lot of people will question you when you put yourself out there, when you expose yourself to the world and what you're doing and what you're building. At some point, somebody's going to say to you, well, if it's working so well for you, then why are you telling others about how to do it? And it's a very, very valid question. It makes a lot of sense to ask it, but you got to make sure, if you are finding yourself asking that all the time, you've got to look at yourself introspectively and kind of get an assessment of whether you're doing this because you are just eternally skeptical, pessimistic, and, I don't know, resentful or jealous of other people doing potentially what you would like to do or what you think you would like to try and make a job out of. Or are you asking it, from a critical perspective? And if it is the latter, then that is a good thing. It's recommended. But hopefully this video, what I'm going to do is basically explain my experience and kind of, I guess, how I got over that. For me, it was definitely a self-limiting belief that everybody who puts any sort of content out is self-aggrandizing and narcissistic and fake and inauthentic, whatever it might be. And it's something that I even struggle with today, making these videos. At the end of the day, there's a thing, obviously, confirmation bias with business owners or any individual who's found incredible success in one avenue and arena of life. They naturally get to a point where they think, because they become successful in that one narrow avenue, that they can then kind of broadly, give advice about how to be successful across all other aspects of life. It'd be like somebody who's got an incredible physical shape, then giving advice on how to get in great financial shape. They might think that they are warranted and valid giving that advice, whereas in reality, they're just suffering from confirmation bias, i.e. what they've done in that small arena can be applied, wider spread. So there's a lot of these things that I've struggled to come to terms with. And quite frankly, I see it all as limiting beliefs and just something to get over. It's almost like being a CEO and or a new CEO standing up in front of a team of individuals in the boardroom and thinking, oh no, there's other guys in here that are more qualified than me, or they have more technical knowledge. So I'm not in a good position to actually give my advice or talk about my experience or whatever it might be. And ultimately that is a limiting belief. You've got to embody what you are and who you're trying to become. And this is definitely one of the things that keeps me motivated with this online journey too. So what I'm going to do here is basically just speak to you about my experience, and hopefully that's going to help give you some clarity and a bit of an explanation about why I have products and services that you can buy from me. Okay, so I am not somebody who's going to make this video and say, I have nothing to sell you, like others online, or, I just make videos because I'm giving free value and I want absolutely nothing in return. That is absolutely not what I'm trying to do. I want to give as much value as I can, but naturally I'm running a business. I do not run a charity at this stage of my life. And making these videos, I'm making these in hopes that you will get a ton of free value from me. You can then implement this and use this free value to get yourself, your income, your business up to a point where you can afford to invest in my higher ticket products and services, and we can work together and build a long-term relationship. That's why I do this. Okay. I also do it too because it's enjoyable. I have a lot of information and knowledge and strategies and experiences that I know through doing this journey over the last 8 to 9 months can physically help people like you watching it. Okay. So if you're in a position where you're not perhaps at a stage of business where I am and you want to get to where I am, I can help you do that. And these videos are a good way of doing that for free. Okay. So like I've said, for the last 6 years, I've been working with clients all around the world, and I've been working with clients across two different functions. Okay, so on the one side, I've helped push products for brands such as Nike, Puma, Calvin Klein, Velux, a whole host of different, house name brands. And whilst also working on that brand side and kind of e-commerce side of things, what I basically was able to do was get to a point where I was able to connect with and partner with no more than 3 to 5 ultra high net worth clients on basically super high frequency, incredibly private side project acquisition deals. That might not make any sense to you now. I understand that. And hopefully this video can help clarify a little bit about what that actually means. So after, like I say, 6 years of doing this, I realized that no matter how much money I was making, if you don't actually share your successes and connect with other people who are in the arena, it can start to feel a little bit empty. And any of you guys who subscribe already and have seen my previous videos, you'll know a little bit about my story of the struggles I went through with running my business. Okay. So for me, it was really just this thing of not being able to sit back any longer. Here's a picture of me. One of the desks I had, I think this was about 5 years ago, tiny little desk here. I think that was from IKEA. I don't even know. I used to sit here with my cat on my lap working, trying my best to make money. So recently and the whole reason for this video is that I had somebody contact me who they were a little bit confused about what it is that I actually have to offer. Okay, so in the terms of our products and services, what it is I can actually do to help them further. They're at a stage where they've got some capital they want to invest in themselves, their own personal business growth, and they're looking for places to allocate that capital. Okay, so they were coming to me and saying, I kind of know what you do, but I kind of don't know how we would go forward and work together. Can you help clarify? So in spending some time clarifying, I just mapped out basically our full product suite as it exists today. Now, if you're watching this video today, it's Thursday, 18th of April, 2024. Our suite of products and offers will change. You might be watching this in the future and we don't offer any of these. But right now, this is how we deliver our core value to business owners just like yourself. Okay. Now, all of the products and services and the core offers that we have as a business, when I say we, I mean myself and the 4 others that I have in my team who indeed still worked with my agency as well. When I actually talk about the products and services that we offer, we only offer these because they are based specifically on what I have done personally. So I don't have a Facebook ads course or short form content agency course, or whatever it might be, because I have not done that. I don't have the knowledge. Perhaps in the future, we might roll that into, future accelerators and incubators, bring in other industry experts. But for me, it's not something I could do. I morally and ethically, and I couldn't even talk about it, tell you how to launch a short form content agency or an OnlyFans agency or whatever these people are, pushing at the moment, because I haven't done it and I wouldn't do it anyway. So really the products here can be broken down in this kind of this relationship map, if we can call it that. Okay. Now, the core offer here we have is the acquisition partner program. Now, I'm not going to go into a whole sales pitch. If you want more information on this, then you can email me or send me a DM on X, or leave a comment on this video here. But the acquisition partner program is basically our ultra high ticket program, where I will help you over the next 4 to 5 months do exactly what I've done in terms of being able to partner with 3 to 5 ultra high ticket clients, where you can build a business that relies on reduced service delivery and kind of input and operational load, whilst actually building a business where turnover and revenue has no glass ceiling. Your profit margins can be extended indefinitely, and indeed outside of what you're able to do running a traditional brick and mortar agency. And basically what we're going to do is run you through 5 phases in a sequential timeline that will help you totally restructure your offer, launch core omnichannel outreach workflows, reverse engineer offers that are actually profitable based on live inputted data that we collect ourselves, and then go after by pinpointing and actually partnering with ultra high net worth CEOs that are running companies doing at least a minimum of 15 to 25 million in annual turnover. Okay, so this is an ultra high ticket program. We call it that because it's not a program for beginners. If you're just starting out, we do actually have increasingly over the last few weeks, we've had more industry and corporate professionals join the program. So these are guys that have either built out sales departments or they work in acquisitions in the corporate space in international companies, and they actually want to take the leap and build their own ultra high ticket consultancy business. Okay, so they're good candidates for this. If you're running a lead gen agency, if you're running a social media agency, whatever it might be, and you're basically struggling because the market is more commoditized than we've ever seen, you aren't able to close clients on any more than 90-day deals, 3-month retainers, you're charging $1,000 to $2,500 per month, and really you're just sick of having to bring on more and more clients that churn, where you just end up not making any money. Okay, this is the program for you. We have to be incredibly selective with who we bring on. It's not a get rich quick scheme. It's not a copywriting program. It's not for 14-year-olds. It's for adult professionals running businesses who want to go after economies of scale and create better efficiencies in what they're doing. All right. So ultimately, it will take you from a place of running an agency, a traditional one where you're stressed and sick of what you're doing, specifically like I was, if you watch my videos, to actually building something that's much more refined, where you work with, industry titans. And I'm talking about people like I have, people that have actually founded global banks. How many global banks are there? You count them on, one hand. So we're talking ultra high net worth, hard to reach people. This is exactly what we show you how to do with that. So on the flip side, and this really came about from me, I guess, wanting to diversify my business, so typically, on the acquisition side, we're focusing on companies within the B2B space. And this is kind of my background anyway. That's how I've made the majority of my money, up until the point that I wanted to build something in the form of an agency where we could actually diversify across verticals and capitalize on e-commerce and work with brands, so that going through, market shifts or recessions or COVID or lockdowns, whatever it might be, if there's a hit to one side, if, our B2B clients who are doing field sales and going out in person or running events, whatever it might be, are affected, and naturally that side of our business takes a hit, then we can scoop up the lack of, revenue growth and projected cash flow there by doubling down on our Ecom clients. Okay. So like we know, through COVID, Ecom dramatically experienced an uptick in terms of placed order values and I guess frequency of purchases. And this was something that we were able to really capitalize on to ourselves. So what this led us to do was basically create a product we call the Ecom Email Accelerator, the EEA. All right. And for those of you who are in the EEA or already know a little bit about it, what we were able to do, and you might have seen my video on this before, was basically go from running a traditional brick and mortar email marketing agency to repackaging, productizing, and then building something where we actually deploy infrastructures for our clients, as opposed to trying to compete in the heavily saturated marketplace, which is the e-commerce vertical. Okay. So if you're running an e-com agency and you are trying to get in touch with brand owners and you aren't getting any, engagement, or you're not getting any traction, you're not bringing on any more clients, then the Ecom Email Accelerator is going to be something for you. Now, specifically what this focuses on inside the EEA is my team and I, of which there's 5 of us total, like I've said, we will manually build out the infrastructure that we deployed for our distributors and our companies selling products like these. We will actually build out that infrastructure where we were able to use that to do over 10 million in agency sales. We'll build that out for you within 24 hours, as well as the actual physical, tangible infrastructure build. We will also give you access to our EEA bonus vault. Okay, so inside the bonus vault, so alongside all of the flows and campaigns and technical deliverability stuff we actually physically do for you, we will issue access to this vault of resources. It will help you hire the right team members. It will help you avoid having to hire expensive technical experts and actually rely on administrative implementer staff, as we call them. It's going to help you reduce variable costs. You'll get access to over 7 internal workflow SOPs. You'll get our agency guide, 12-month content calendar, chat GPT prompts, and all of that sort of stuff. So if you want to get more information on the Ecom Email Accelerator, you can take a look at the link here. And if you're inside the community, wherever you are at the moment, you'll be able to access this page here and get a good idea of exactly what is included. So like I say, it's not an online course. We don't sell an online course. We're not going to give you access to a program that's going to teach you how to write copy or anything like that. We're going to physically do it for you. We're going to give you the infrastructure you need overnight, so that tomorrow, or normally actually within the next few hours, if you were to enroll in the EEA, you will have a huge body of infrastructure that you can then go into sales calls in order to actually close ecom brands. Okay, so you're not going to have to scrabble around with, creating good offers, pitching, closing, and then having to figure out service delivery. In essence, we've already given you the service delivery. Okay, so alongside these 2 core product offerings, what we introduced a couple of months back is our community. Now, the community really came about from a lot of the younger guys sort of in the acquisition partner arena, who couldn't afford the investment for the acquisition partner program, or weren't running an ecom agency, or didn't have an ecom offer, but wanted to get access to things that were going to help them actually, attract clients, close clients, send out more looms, and basically scale themselves as a kind of outreach machine. Inside the community, we also provide support. You obviously get access to all of our other acquisition partners too, which is a really big benefit. But if you want more information on the community, then you can head over to this link here. I'll drop all these links below anyway, and you'll get a good idea of what you'll be able to achieve in the community there. Now, the community only really makes sense, or I guess it makes the most sense when it's meshed in between either enrollment in the EEA or the acquisition partner program. So if you're a member of either of these, the community access, lifetime access, comes free as part of that deal. And really that's where you're going to get the most kind of, engagement and utility from using the community. The other side of the coin is that if you are currently in a position where cash flow is limited, investable funds are limited, whatever, you kind of want to try before you buy, then the community is a good offer. We've played around with pricing. We did have weekly pricing. Now we only have opportunities open for lifetime access. Okay. And that's simply because we have so much manual input required for both our core product offerings that we just want the community to be a place where we share value, and we don't have to deploy, a huge amount of cost managing subscription payments and payment cancellations or whatever it might be. So it's a fixed fee. You pay it once, you get inside, and then you immediately get access to all of the resources. So hopefully, guys, I hope that has explained a little bit about kind of the acquisition partner ecosystem from the standpoint of what our products and offers are. Now, like I say, these are likely to change. We are working on a SaaS. We have got other products in development that we're looking to bring to the market in a not so distant future. So I'd be super interested to see, if you're a member of these programs already, if you're inside the community, or if you're looking to join, drop a comment below on this video. Check out the links that I'll drop in the description too, and let me know if you have any questions. We're still obviously at a stage here where we've got our own clients that we're facilitating and working with. So selling you a enrollment into the EEA or the acquisition partner program is not it's not a necessity for us or me. I don't want you to join if you aren't at the right stage of your business, if you don't have the funds that you can readily and happily invest, and if you're not looking to benefit from what we actually deliver. If you're looking to niche hop or get rich quick, this is not what we can do for you. Okay, so hopefully you're not one of those people, and if you want to connect with me, then send me an email, drop me a comment below, and I'll be more than happy to chat with you. All right, guys, we'll catch up in the next one. Hope you're all doing well, and we'll speak soon. Cheers.